Alright, welcome back to the podcast. I'm just recording on here, waiting for my meal delivery from the local Peruvian spot. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about just, I don't know what's going on with all these holidays. Like, geez, like, we just had Veterans Day. Next week is already going to be Thanksgiving. Hanukkah's coming up starting on the 19th, and it goes all the way till Christmas Eve, and then there's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and I'm just over here trying to figure out where I'm going and when I'm going to be where and what I need to do where with who. In the meantime, buying tickets for concerts. I got a New Year's Eve concert I'm going to. Trying to get some AFI tickets still, and then going to the Sick New World Fest in May of 2023. So pretty much all my tickets so far are going to be technically 2023, because New Year's Eve, there's a concert this weekend I want to go to, but dang, it's just a lot, like, because I'd have to go all the way down to San Diego, and it's like, as much as I want to go and it's cheap and kind of convenient, just the drive and the stay is not cheap or convenient. So I'm just going to wait till New Year's Eve. I'm debating on this Deadmau5 Cascade concert in LA. But I do need to also focus on snowboarding. Like, the more concerts I go to, the less snowboarding I can do. So, I don't know. But anyways, I'm, just chilling. Yeah, I just noticed I've been having, just days where, I'm definitely getting used to a very low stimulation lifestyle, almost to the point where it's like I just don't even want to be around too much noise and extra stuff. Like, I like podcasts and stuff, listening to that kind of stuff, but I mean, mostly, honestly, I'm enjoying reading books. Like, that's kind of something that I'm just enjoying lately. Books, meditating, some writing here and there. Yeah, just kind of laying low, not really doing too much. But with all these holidays coming up, I'm kind of working towards studying some stuff. I just haven't really solidified exactly what I'm studying yet. So it'll come to me. Usually it comes to me when I'm in the middle of learning about something else always comes up. But I mean, I found it kind of interesting. I think the recent post, so yesterday, the day before, I was kind of focusing on a lot of this material about, death and resurrection and immortality and these types of topics. And, it's kind of interesting how much the concept of death has been coming up. Like, not even death in my, immediate life, thankfully, like, I haven't experienced that, but with clients, they're experiencing that. And actually, this started before, because I think a friend of mine mentioned something last week. I believe it was like just before Veterans Day, that they were at work and there was a lot going on with the concept of death at their work, with some trainings or meetings or something. And so I think that's where it first came up. And I do remember thinking, like, because somebody mentioned a certain topic that I was like, oh, I want to look that up. And then I was kind of like avoiding it because I was like, death is kind of heavy, and I don't tend to want to spend a lot of time thinking on that in my free time. But even though I wasn't really thinking of that in my free time, I kind of started thinking otherwise about other topics. So and just the stuff like surrounding it, like you know, I'm kind of weird with holiday times because sometimes during holidays I like to know about the holidays themselves and the history and all that. But for some reason, you know, if I do watch like shows and movies and stuff, I kind of tend to hate the holiday episodes. It's like, you know, skip all the like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, New Year's Eve, like all those episodes. I usually skip. And you know, it's fine to skip it. I don't think I need to like not skip it, but I tend to skip it. And so yeah, I do tend to do some skipping with that sort of thing. And then when it comes to like even just like, you know, the concept surrounding I guess if it's still the death related kind of topics, life and death type of topics, there's just so much there, you know, like all the topics that I was listing, I was like, okay, like, so this includes like death, resurrection, creation, it includes, you know, concepts of heaven and hell and afterlife and just like so much, you know. And it's like, I don't really think I spend a lot of time thinking about those types of things. Like, it's kind of in the back of my head, of course. It's like, you know, if hell does exist, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be contributing to that place. I don't want to be involved with it at all. But I don't know what I really think about it, honestly. It's just kind of weird. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of topics along those lines that I do want to dive into. It's just a lot. It's a lot. So I'm gonna see kind of how far I get. This week I'm still kind of choosing what I'm actually gonna be discussing on this podcast. Kind of debating if I'm gonna go into all these like upcoming holidays or a combination of the holidays, the history of the holidays, and whatever topics are coming up in the study materials that I have direct access to. I'm not too interested in, I don't know, like, for me it's easiest to go from like an Adventist perspective or from like a Jewish perspective, just because that's where most of my learning background comes from. And so it's easier for me to like dive into a topic and then kind of compare like what's in Adventism, what's in mainstream Christianity, and what's in Judaism, and kind of compare those three. I feel like when I start moving outside of those places, it's like, oh, like there's just a whole lot there. But I think, you know, growing up Adventist, we definitely were taught, you know, how certain beliefs of the church might differ from other denominations and why, or even from other religions and why. Like, why is this verse interpreted this way by Adventists, compared to other verses. And then there's a book, there's an actual book I think I've spoken about before. There's an actual book that shows what it actually shows what's different in all the verses of the Bible. Not all, it seems like all, though, like all the verses of the Bible backing up kind of like that Adventist traditional belief. But I don't know, like I'm not really into like, oh, this is more right than that. I know that people believe what they believe because that's how they understand things, and their beliefs might change over time or they might not, and I don't see any reason to be upset about that. Like, it doesn't affect me. I used to argue with people about stuff, but lately I'm just kind of like, I don't really care. Like, and I don't really have anyone to argue with about it, so I'm fine with that. But, I don't know, this is just a weird time of year. I know a lot of people experience a lot of seasonal depression around this time of year. For me, I don't know what, it's weird for me not having the sun all the time, or being able to go to the beach after work all the time. And then I feel like the sun comes out late. Like, I can't even go really properly to the beach before work, even though it's freaking freezing in the mornings too. Like, but I can't really even go before work because I wouldn't really have enough time. So, like, I could go, but I wouldn't have a lot of time there. So, I wouldn't even be able to spend like an hour. So I don't really know. So yeah, I guess we'll see where I end up going with things. I'm still trying to figure out, what's going on with the holidays. I think I'm solidified a little bit that I'm going to be in LA for Christmas time, so I don't have to travel anywhere. But I'm debating if because I have a friend that has a Christmas party just before Hanukkah. I'm debating if I'm going to go to that party, as well as my friend's Hanukkah celebration. They never told me if they were doing it or not, but I was thinking to ask and see if they were going to do it, if they wouldn't want to plan it like on December 19th, so I could still be in town and not have to go down there like more than twice in a month, because I'm going to be down there for New Year's Eve too. So we shall see. Like, traveling's not cheap anymore. Gas is expensive. Hotels are freaking expensive. So it kind of is a lot nicer to not really have to pay for a lot of stuff. But I know I'll be in San Diego for New Year's Eve, so I need to kind of figure that out. Yeah, as far as just having a good hang with friends and stuff. Like, I'm really trying to figure out what I'm doing for the holidays. For me, it's more about friends and family. It's not so much about the consumerism or even the religious stuff. Like, I feel like that's the kind of stuff you can still do all year long. If you want to do religious things, you can do it all year. If you want to do buying stuff, you can buy stuff all year long. Like, I don't feel like it needs to be like all tied to like the end of the year and this whole big thing. But I don't know. I know there's a big hype of it. I usually despise it, honestly. All the areas where I've lived, honestly, have been like so close to malls and everything, and it's like shopping centers and malls, and the traffic is like backed up for like 30-40 minutes just because of the parking lots overflowing and all these people freaking buying stuff and causing all this traffic. And I was like, dude, I just want to go like a few miles down the road to just buy a freaking burrito. I'm not trying to take like an hour round trip just to like get past the mall, you know? Like, it's just ridiculous. And it happens from like about Thanksgiving all the way to like the beginning of January. It just starts getting really ridiculous, you know. LA and San Diego both. It's just and then God forbid they're doing construction at the same time. It's like, goodness. It's really a lot. But I do spend money. You know, this year I'm doing a lot more concerts. I'm trying to juggle just the concerts and snowboarding. But most of the concerts aren't like during the holidays. There are other times, and then some mini travel. So some kind of mini, like I'm fine going to the mountains or going to San Diego. I'm fine with that. Traveling up until next year, I'll be doing some other traveling, I guess, in the summer. But I don't know. I don't really know. But I gotta see if my food's here. I could actually check while I'm just sitting here. Okay, it says it's arriving in 1 minute. So let me make sure the light is on. But with that, thanks for listening.